Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of, episode 2 of my Out of the Park Baseball 24 playthrough here over on GM Games. Before we get into the video, do me a favor, guys, drop the video a like, subscribe to both GM Games and myself over at Around the World Sports. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of my playthrough here with the Southsiders. And we are right where we left off. After the live stream last Sunday, which is July 16th. Now, that being said, I have already simmed to the end of the season once. I got as far as Hall of Fame voting, and the game crashed. So what I've done is I have replicated the deals that I made last episode. They're up and ready to go, and I'm going to show those to you, and then we're going to get back into the sim and do it all over again. So I had 2 trades that I completed, and I'm thinking about making a third here over the next couple of weeks. But I want to show you the 2 trades that we've made or are about to complete. And the first is with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I offered up Eloy and 50% of his contract. Actually, I think I started at 75. And I got Pittsburgh offering me back Henry Davis, the former #1 overall pick. Not a great defensive catcher, but a really good bat behind the plate. And I backed that down to 50%, which they then couldn't afford. So threw in a couple of quote-unquote prospects. You got Matt Archer, 35 potential overall second baseman, and then Ben Norman is a 35 potential overall outfielder. And then we also take back Andrew McCutchen, whose contract expires at the end of the season. But Kutch is very popular. He's a captain, so the team and the fans will like that. So we give up Eloy. We will retain 50% of his contract. I thought about hanging on to Eloy, but hasn't had a particularly good season. He gets hurt a lot. Hasn't been hurt this season, but been hurt his 2 previous seasons, can't play in the field. The bat, I don't think, is good enough to justify not being able to play in the field. So we're going to trade Eloy and retain 50% of his contract, send him to Pittsburgh, get back Henry Davis and Andrew McCutchen. So they don't like the fact that we lost Eloy, but they love the fact that we pick up Kutch. So we're going to stick Kutch on the big league roster, and we are going to put Henry Davis in AAA. That's not AAA. Put him in AAA. And make sure that's locked down. And then the other deal we made was with a division rival. And it was with the Detroit Tigers. We offered up Lucas Giolito, with, I don't remember how much it was. I think it was 80% retained or something. And we got, it was 100% retained, and Detroit offered us, I don't remember who it was, Matt Manning or, somebody that they always offer up. And I went through and I said, I want Parker Meadows instead. Meadows, the bat, may never get there, but he is an elite outfielder. We can play him in center field next year. That will allow us to move Luis Robert either to left or right. Really raking in AAA right now. So we give up Giolito. We retain 100%. We give up 25-year-old Chase Soleski. He's 25-year-old in high A ball, not pitching particularly well in high A ball. And Garrett Shenley, 4+ pitches, but again, 25 years old, AA. Not really concerned about that. So Giolito to the Tigers with a couple of prospects in exchange for Parker Meadows. Fans don't like the fact that we gave up Giolito, but that is okay. Meadows will move to AAA as well. So those are the 2 deals that we made last time. As you can see, that freed up a large chunk of money for next season. Our fan interest is staying right in those low 70s. The only other contract that I'm thinking about moving on from, or the only player I'm thinking about trading is Grandal, because Hendricks' team option will decline, Joe Kelly's team option will decline, Clevenger's team option will decline, Diekman's team option will decline, and the rest of the contracts aren't terrible. Like Benintendi, we may look to move in the offseason. That's not something I necessarily want to look at right this second. But Yasmani Grandal. I don't know if, we'll just sim ahead of day here. I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in him. And we haven't, I don't think we've signed all of our free agents yet. I can't remember when they signed the first time I ran through this. I think we're still waiting on the majority of them, actually. Yeah, 1, 2, and 5. G-Love, Wadas, and Caleb Appleby. But that being said, let's go in here and make sure that anybody who's a 50 or above has their AI promotion locked down. All right, so let's see if anybody's interested in Grandal. If not, we're just going to move on. And I think I made most of these deals at on deadline day the first time I went through it, but I didn't feel like getting back into the game, simming a week and a half, and then going, oh, by the way, I made these trades the last time I played the game. So make them a couple of weeks earlier this time, not a big deal. All right, so Grandal, we're not going to resign. So I don't mind if we have to retain. Can we get anybody? Nope, there's not really any interest at all. I mean, Luis Santana's okay, but Jake Lee, meh. Can we add anything? Do we have anything anybody wants? That's the big question. Lennon Sosa's not terrible, but he's not really a shortstop, right? He's a second baseman. And what I would love to have happen is to bring in a shortstop and move Tim Anderson to second base. That's what I would prefer. We got Eric Gonzalez to play the infield through the rest of the season. Just curious if this changes anything. Excuse me. We're getting a lot of regulars, no real prospects. I'll flip through and Bryce Elder. Extreme ground ball pitcher. Not bad, I guess. Darren Vavra is 26, so he's not really a prospect. You got a Miguel Amaya from the Cubs make another crosstown deal. Possibility. Drake Skubal, we can go right back to Detroit. Skubal, his injury proneness is normal. Back of a rotation. I mean, we got time. Let's scouting report. We can get it before the deadline. That's good to know. Pedro Leon from Houston. Very good defensively. He's 25. Leon and Arrighetti. Get them both. That might not be bad. Logan O'Hoppe, another catcher. Would like to potentially, Brett Beatty. That's nice, but we don't really need a first baseman, right? I mean, we've got Vaughn. He's not great, but we've got other holes. Cal Mitchell, former first-round pick. The first baseman. Second baseman, Justin Foscue. That's not a bad bat. Is that legit, though? It's hard to tell with scouting accuracy on low. So I'm kind of leaning right now. I like the idea of potentially picking up Leon and Arrighetti, because at worst, Leon is a backup outfielder. He can play all three positions. He's got speed. Got 18 home runs in AAA this year. We do Leon and Arrighetti. Is that something you guys would do? Can we get anything else? I mean, the reality is that he's saying, please give me more time, which means maybe we can squeeze something else out of Houston here. Schubert, good defensive outfielder. Can't really hit. Corey Lee. I like Pedro Leon. At least I think I do. Ooh, OSA doesn't like him at all. Let's get a scouting report on him first. Let's sim ahead a bit and see what we get. At least we know that option is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the deadline, and then I'm going to sim the rest of the season offline, and then I'll come back at the end of, I suppose I should set my lineup, huh? We'll come back at the end of the regular season, and we'll do the off season. So Koch will bet DH against lefties, and Sheets will DH against righties. That is fine. Wait until we get scouting reports on some of those players and see if moving Grandal makes sense. It's going to hurt the team. Okay, so it looks like everybody signed. Cool. So we get a return on Justin Foscue. Average. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, good contact. Again, it's still just average, though. It's 2 to 3 weeks now. Yeah. He's really good against lefties. I mean, he is just an average second baseman, but that's a pretty darn good bat. Pedro Leon. Okay. So Leon's numbers, his stats are legit. His stats are legit. So I think still in here. It is Pedro Leon. We can add that in there. Pedro Leon, Spencer Arrighetti. Arrighetti could potentially be a starter. He's been really good out of the bullpen. He's potentially a starter with a 45 stamina. Only 23. Can we get them to add anything else? These are really, really... Wow. Okay, so maybe... I don't want to abuse this. So do I... I think we do the make this work now button with Camilo Diaz. Ugh, OSA doesn't like him at all. Sorry, I was eating my hoodie. That's why I sounded a little different there for a second. Jaime Melendez. Taylor's looking okay. So let's see what it would take for Diaz, and if not, I'm fine just removing him and going Leon and Arrighetti, I think. Well, Montgomery, okay, yeah. So Pedro Leon and Spencer Arrighetti to Houston for Grandal, retained Lennon Sosa and Mario Camilletti. Make the deal. Yep. Players are disappointed, but we still have more than a few captains. So, all right, well, that gives us another pitcher. We got to add who to the rotation? Banks. Jimmy Lambert, I guess. We will set the bullpen. Arrighetti immediately becomes our closer. We still need to call up a couple of players. I think Leon actually gets the call up here. I can find him. Is he here? Yeah, he's there. So Leon gets the call up. We still have another player we need to call up. So what position are we missing? We're not missing any outfield positions. Colas, Benintendi. Yeah, so Leon will be our backup because Reyes is gone after this season, so we may as well give Leon an opportunity here 3 times a week. I'll get these other positions set in a second. Zavala comes in there. We need to call up another middle infielder because right now it's Gonzalez. So I don't know if we haven't, and we need to call up a catcher. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do both. So we actually will send Reyes down to the minor. So we'll call up Carlos Perez. We'll call up Jose Gonzalez, or Rodriguez, rather. Rodriguez will be our second baseman. No, I said second baseman. And then Zavala will be our starting catcher. And I don't want Benny batting leadoff against lefties anymore. Somebody mentioned that to me in the comments. We'll actually bat McCutchen leadoff against lefties. Move Benintendi way down in the lineup. Perez comes in as the backup every fourth game. Gonzalez backs up at second and short. And third, for that matter. Cutchin will be our backup DH. Against lefties, same deal. Perez, Leon, and Leon. You know what? In fact, Leon is going to get the starts against lefties. I just made the decision. There we go. So there is our roster. I don't think we're going to make any more deals here between now and the deadline. I will sim day by day in case somebody makes us an offer. Excuse me. And then I will pause and, or not pause, but I will stop the recording and I will start simming to the end of the year. Matt Brash ready to come back. Let's go. All right. So who's going to go to the minor leagues? Gregory Santos. He's not quite ready. Even though he did just get the call up in real life, he is going to guaranteed rate field this year for the White Sox, which is pretty cool. Matt Brash. And we're going to stick him right in the rotation and see how that goes. So Brash and Houck, a couple players I am interested in seeing it develop for our team. We got to get a new scouting report on Tanner Houck. See if we get a trade offer made to us. If we do, we'll look at it, but I don't think I'm going to make any more offers here. I think we've effectively traded who we need to trade. We get the win here. 3 hits from Rodriguez, 2 from Zavala, Moncada, and Robert. Homer, Kopech goes 4 2/3. I changed the font. I don't know. I kind of like the little font a little bit better, which is saying something since my eyes are going. But back-to-back wins, 4-2 and 3-2. Timmy Anderson, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Zavala with another RBI. Matt Brash, his first start back, 4 innings of 1-hit ball. Arrighetti picks up his second save already. Take on the Cubs now as we approach the deadline. 11 games under 500. Make it 10 games under 500 with 3 straight victories. They called up PCA, and he is hitting the baseball. Good for him. Andrew Vaughn, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, 3 hits from Moncada, 2 for Zavala. Zavala's taking it to this starting catching job. Pedro Leon, a couple of hits. Only 3 for his first 16, but he did have 2 hits and an RBI here. Win goes to Lambert. We pick up win 4 in a row. We cannot. And there's a trade proposal. Ross Stripling for Jake Burton. No, thank you. Trade proposal from the team we're playing. They want to send me Mike Zunino getting Kelly, Burke, and Meadows. No, thank you. So we win 12-10 here. Zavala, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs. He homers. Vaughn has 3 RBIs. Clevenger gets lit up. That is okay, though, because we win. Can we take the series from the division-leading Guardians? We can. Trade proposal from the Mariners. They want to send us Colton Wong for Jake Berger, and I mean, they like it, but I don't want to pay him, and he's gone at the end of the year. Leon's got that average of 217. Vaughn has 4 RBIs. Gavin Sheets, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Anderson, a couple of hits. Robert, a couple of runs. Kopech picks up the win. Arrighetti gets his 3rd save. Playing some decent baseball here at the end of July. Martin Perez and Manuel Castro. Everybody likes Sean Burke. I don't know why. I'm going to reject that trade. Robert, 2 hits. Gavin Sheets, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Sheets with a 2-run homer in the first. We made that hold up. Matt Brash, 5 shutout innings here. Let's go. Arrighetti, Crochet and Arrighetti at the back end of our bullpen, locking things down. You like to see that. Let's get to the deadline. And we're still 13 and a half games out of first place, but playing decent ball. We lose there. Andrew Vaughn, the player of the week. We lose. Jake Diekman, diagnosis pending. Rodriguez up to 303 on in his short time. Did anybody make us trade offer? If not, I'm just going to sim through the deadline. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? This was dumb of me. Jake Jaloff will disable, and we're going to put him in A-ball. George Lombard will disable. Appleby, we will disable. How'd he do so far in rookie ball? 10 for 31. Yeah, look at that. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. We'll start him in A-ball. He's going to be a good third baseman. Not elite, but he'll be a good third baseman with an above-average bat. And given the volatility of prospects in this game, I'll take that. I will take that. So, all right. We'll look at the deadline so that, you guys can see it if you haven't seen it before. But now you get 4 minutes. So we got Colton Wong. We got the Colton Wong, Mike Zunino deals. We'll reject there. We will reject there. You can see some of the deals that have gone down here. I think this is since the beginning of the season. Oh, this is over the last week. A lot of deals made here in the last week. Oops. Trading block, trade deadline. Look at some of the players that are on the block. See if there's anybody. Most of these players are going to be in the final year of their contracts. Like I would love to pick me up a Kike if he was not in the final year of his contract. But most of these players, from what I've seen, are in the last years of their contracts, or they aren't good. One of the two. Was it Iglesias? If we needed a shortstop, Joey Wendell. Game doesn't like Joey at all. Huh. Okay. Even though he's a 55. Victor Caratini. Carlos Perez. Hands are up already. The A's are shopping a lot of players. Phillies want to trade Nola. Yeah. So in the first playthrough, Aaron Nola and who's the other one? Aaron Nola got traded to the Twins, and the Twins signed him to a 6-year extension. He's somebody I'm looking at, assuming the money is there when we get to the end of the regular season. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to make Matt Carpenter. I don't think we're going to make any deals. No reason to, right? I mean, Brandon Crawford is somebody I was thinking about in the first playthrough, plugging him in at third base. Teoscar Hernandez is on the block. His contract is up, too. Yeah, we're not going to make any deals. I'm going to go ahead and sim through the day. We made the deals that we wanted to make leading up to the deadline. And, all right, guys, I'm going to pause here. When I come back, it will be the end of the regular season. Hang tight. All right, guys, we're back. It's the end of the regular season, and look at your Chicago White Sox, guys. 80 and 82. I'm incredibly encouraged about what next year is going to bring. And that's because if you look at our month by month, April was atrocious, right? April, and we were 7 and 22. We were well over 500 the rest of the season. We just got so far behind the 8 ball that we just couldn't get caught back up. We got as close as like 2.5 games of a wild card spot in the month of September. So yeah, we were 5, 6, 13. We were 13 games over 500 between May and the end of the season. So very, very optimistic about the upcoming season. We'll quickly take a look at the stats before we dive into what everybody wants, which is the offseason, right? So Moncada, Yohan, 29 home runs, 91 knocked in, 810 OPS, 121 OPS plus, put up 4 WAR for us. It was a pleasant surprise. Tim Anderson, 187 hits, not a lot of extra bases. I mean, 103 OPS plus because he doesn't hit for a lot of power. So that OPS is batting average driven, which isn't great, but he's good defensively and blah, 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 blah. Luis Robert had a pretty nice season, 19 home runs. Benny was okay. 97 OPS plus. Pedro Leon came up and did a nice job. 245, 448 slugging at 9 home runs in 60 games, 769 OPS. Kind of what we were hoping for, right? With that gap, home run and eye discipline, that he could put up some decent numbers, and he did. I'm pleased with that. Andrew Vaughn, 80 RBIs this season. Not bad. 20 home runs, 80 knocked in. Kevin Sheets was okay, and then everybody else was just sort of bad. Oscar Colas really cooled off. Ended up with a 707 OPS, 93 OPS plus. Not terrific. From a pitching perspective, our starters, they're okay. Matt Brash was pretty damn good. That was about it. Joe Kelly led us in WAR. Tanner Houck was 4-3 with a 4.62. Slightly below average ERA, but that BABIP's pretty high. I also expect him to strike out a little bit more, so I'm still optimistic about Tanner with those 4 good pitches. Matt Brash was actually terrific as a starter. Struck out 80 in 65 innings. He was a 5-inning guy, but that's what you expect with the 40 stamina, and that's really what you expect with most pitchers these days. So he was quite good. Sean Burke kind of thrust into action, right? Maybe a little earlier than you would have liked. But he was okay. 6-10, 4.14, 103 ERA plus. He was above average. Crochet, Garrett Crochet was quite good. 13.6 strikeouts, 117 Ks in 77 innings. Spencer Arrighetti came in and was terrific for us, saving 25 games the last 2 months of the season, 84 strikeouts in 64 innings. So we got a pretty solid back of our bullpen with Arrighetti and Crochet. I'm looking forward to that. We also got Bummer, and then we also have a King coming back next season as well. And then everybody else was various levels of average to below average. I didn't want to sim through the playoffs because I wanted to make sure we got to the International Free Agency Showcase. So we will sim up to that. It's probably going to be a bit of a long video as well, I imagine. So I do want to get most of the postseason in here today. So you got the Guardians, the Yankees, the Astros, and the Twins, along with the Angels and the Rays in the American League, the Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, the Cardinals, along with the Dodgers and the Mets. So it's the Dodgers and the Padres, the Cardinals and the Mets, the Rays, the Twins, the Yankees, and the Angels. So the Padres and the Mets take a 1-0 lead. Angels are leading. Rays are leading. Mets are up 2-0 on the Cardinals. Padres and Dodgers are tied at 1. Angels and Rays both take 2-0 series leads. Mets looking for the sweep. They don't get it. Dodgers take a 2-1 lead over the Padres. Or either the AL series. Yep, the Rays sweep the Twins. The Mets, the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. The Rays and the Angels in the American League. It should pause here in a second so we can kick off International Amateurs. Sebi Zavala's back. Send somebody down to the minors. Couple of days here before we get to International Amateurs kicking off. Aaron Judge, another 59 home run season, drives in 121 runs. Bubba Thompson with 60 stolen bases for Texas. All right, so we are at International Amateurs. So we have to go into International. We invite, and then we find the best of the best, and also the ones that we have a high relationship with already that have low interest. Daniel Rocha, he looks like he could be really good ground ball pitcher. Yeah, 100%. Nelson Salazar, yep, $290,000 for a pitcher like Salazar would be great. And then we'll do Cerrigo as well. Let's go ahead and invite them. I can only invite 10. That's weird. I can only invite 10. Holy hell. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we'll invite him. Fredo Molina. Yep, Jesus Ramirez. He wants a lot of money, though, which is the only thing. Wow. Okay. Villarreal. We won't invite Ramirez because he wants a lot of money. So I want to pay attention to the players who he has low work ethic. Pedraza. My God. Look at some of these names, man. And then we will also invite Medina. So we will invite them. Now we go back to scouting, international. We will run practice. Cool. We already have strong relationships with a couple of really, really good players. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and sim to the end of the playoffs. The Rays and the Angels, the Mets and the Dodgers both tied at 1 in their respective series. Mets take a 2-1 lead. All that money the Mets spent this season will do it for them. A 3-1 lead now over the Dodgers. Rays and Angels tied at 2. The Mets take out the Dodgers in 5. Rays 1 game away from the World Series. Angels tie it up. Shohei and Trout trying to get to the World Series, and they can't. So it's the Rays and the Mets in the 2023 World Series. Series tied at 1 after 2 games. Mets take a 2-1 lead. Rays come back and tie it up. Mets 1 game away. And the New York Mets take the 2023 World Series. So Steve Cohen does pay for that World Series trophy. All right, so we got an average score. Before we do all the stuff that we know we have to do, we're just going to come back into internationals. We're going to run practice again. So you can see already league interest in some of these players is high. Players you want to look at, like Nelson Salazar, Sirigo. Like if we can get these guys for, $500,000 between the two of them, that then gives us the money to turn around and look at someone like, which one was it? Someone like Pedraza or Villarreal is an absolute animal. This is crazy. He only wants 1.4. I mean, if we can figure out a way to get those 3 players, I would take that. So we're at the offseason. I saw that there were a bunch of names on waivers. So let's just take a look at the waiver wire really quickly. Guillermo Zuniga. Baez. Interesting that some of these players are on waivers. All right. I'm not going to do anything with that. So we have decisions to make. We got to go in here and make sure we do this. So Tim Anderson, we will execute his option. Jake Diekman, we will void. Joe Kelly, we will void. Liam Hendricks, we will void. Mike Clevenger, we will void. New budget, team payroll about $170 million. We've got not a lot right now, but we should have a lot once the season kicks over. We'll bump this up to 30. And let's immediately take this up to 16 million. Take this up to 17. I can't. I can take this up to 14. That'll change, I think, a little bit too once we get into, you know what, I'm going to save it because I don't want, speaking of that, I need to go in and change how often this game auto saves. So what I don't want is for it to crash again. Where is that? Is it listed under game settings? I think is it under manager options? Here? It might be here. Yeah, autosave. Once a month. All right. So now we go into arbitration, and let's see what we've got. So Clevenger, Diekman, Kelly, they can all walk. Hendrickson, McCutcheon will both walk. Do we want to re-sign any of these players? Ricardo Sanchez was good in AAA last year. Does he want to come back? Might be good to have that depth just in case. That's about it, yeah. All right, so ARB numbers. And I say this every single time I go through arbitration. Make sure that you are offering contracts to the players you want rather than just letting it go to arbitration. Not just because of the effect it has on the relationship, but if somebody is popular, you will get a fan interest bump. So Cease wants 8.5, probably do 8.150. So we'll save. So if we went to arbitration and we offered 8.5, we'd probably win because he wasn't particularly good and he missed most of the year. So we signed him this year, but we signed him for 8.1. So we signed him for less than what we would have gotten in an arbitration hearing. And because he's popular, we should get a fan interest bump when he signs that contract. So Kopech wants 3.2. That should be 3.050. Save 150. We can. Crochet at 2.6, 100%. Yes, so 2.45, or do we have to do 2.5 there? 2.5, yeah. 2.5 for Crochet. Lambert, we're going to go ahead and remove that. Ruiz wasn't bad last year. What does he want? 1.4? Sure. 1.325. Save 75K. Nope. 1.35. Michael King wants 1.8. Yep, he hasn't really done anything, but we will give him 1.725. He should take that. Andrew Vaughn wants 2.8, so we will offer him 2.7. And Gonzalez and Reyes, we're just going to withdraw on both of them. So I think that's it for that. Let's go ahead and start simming. Jays want to send us a 36-year-old reliever for a couple of minor leaguers. No, thank you. What did I want to stop? What did I want to... Oh, mail, right. I wanted to league an organization so I can see if we win any awards. Well, I want to see what the awards are, even if we don't win anything. So there you go. So you see C signs the contract. We get a fan interest bump. I think those are that's the only one we're going to get a bump on. It is. So we're at, what, 72 right now. Hopefully that increases. We have a lot of money for the offseason. I think I'm going to invest a lot of that into scouting and development. I don't like it. I love it. Really. I don't. So I don't know how active we're going to be in free agency. If Nola's around, I might be interested in taking a run there, but I don't want to give up. Excuse me. I don't want to give up a draft pick to do so. So maybe he got traded at the deadline, and then he won't require a pick. We'll see. So Bieber, Trevino, Walker, Lopez, Chapman, Correa, Kwan, Bader, and Tucker in the American League. Darvish, Hedges, Olsen, McMahon, Arenado, Lindor, McCarthy, Almora, and Carroll in the National League. Win the Gold Gloves. Relievers of the year in the American League: Trevor May, Acevedo, Bautista, and in the National League, Devin Williams, Josh Hader, Ryan Helsley. Silver Sluggers in the AL: Raleigh, Cassius, Tristan Cassius, Brandon Lowe, Rendon, Witt, Gallo, Trout, Judge, Shohei, Will Smith, Olsen, McMahon, Escobar, Tovar, Soto, Harris, Tatis, and Joey Meneses. Rookie of the Year: Cassius, Henderson, Volpe. In the National League: Tovar, Steer, Corbin, and Carroll, who's out with post-concussion syndrome, I just saw. Kevin Cash and Buck Showalter in the National League. Your Cy Young Award winners are whom? In the American League: Garrett Cole, then Rodon and McClanahan. Spencer Strider wins it in the National League: Zach Allen, Jordan Montgomery. And your MVPs are, in the American League, Mike Trout, followed by Judge and Ohtani. How'd Shohei do this year? Just a casual 9.3 WAR season, won 20 games for the Angels. In the National League, Tatis, Betts, Soto, and Lars Nootbaar finishes fourth. Cool. Let's get salary arbitration and the off season. Twins want to send us Matt Wallner for Berger, Cole Seamoss, and yeah. Sure. Let's complete that deal. Excellent. I mean, Wallner's got some power. We now have a platoon type situation at first base, I think. Is Wallner a lefty? He is. So if those ratings are legit, I mean, he is a top 100 prospect, so that works. All right. Thank you, Minnesota, I guess. Get up to arbitration. We don't have anybody who is eligible for ARB. We either offered everybody or didn't offer them a contract. All right, so we got any interesting? Do we have any interesting international free agents? Let's take a look at that before we see what we have for finances. 22-year-old, he's second baseman. He's not a shortstop. No. All right, the Rangers want to offer us. They still want to offer us Josh Smith. All right, so Nola is out there. And he is compensation eligible because he stayed with Philadelphia. I'm not all that interested in giving up a draft pick. So let's go ahead and bump that to 20. Bump this to 22. That leaves us $22 million to play with. Let's save. I'm all anxious now because this is right about where the game crashed on me last time. Like I said, it crashed at Hall of Fame votings. How long have I been going for? Okay, well, this section's only been 20 minutes. I've been going for about 40 here. All right, so what do we need? What do we have for pitchers? We got to do this. We have to take injury list, put King and Cease. How long are they both out for? 7 months. So that gets them back in June, right? They'll both be back in June unless one of them is healthy. So we do need a starting pitcher. So we need a couple of pitchers. Use a catcher. I could use a catcher. I think we're set in the outfield. Oh, that's right. We got these other players we have to call up. Cabrera, Meadows, and Davis. We don't need a catcher. We don't need an outfielder. I think we're good in the outfield with Robert, Meadows, Colas for now, with Leon in the mix as well, and Benintendi we may end up trying to move. We've got Cabrera, who we picked up from the Yankees last season at second base. I don't know that we need. We'll see what's out. See what's out there. It might be a slow offseason for the White Sox, which I would be fine with as we try to build up our farm system. Now I saw Nick Ahmed's name there. We could go after someone like Nick Ahmed and then move Tim Anderson to second and use Cabrera as sort of that super sub. I mean, that's a potential option as well. He can't really hit, but he can field. Yeah, I'm not going after I'm not spending that kind of money on these players. I think we're okay at catcher. Tony Kemp can play all over the diamond. He wants $8 million. I mean, mean, if that number comes down, I might be intrigued. It's a lot of money for some of these players. Yeah, Nick Ahmed we could bring in and stick him at short. He didn't hit well last year at all. He doesn't have a good bat, but just an elite defensive shortstop. That being said, Tim Anderson does have 70 range, so it's not as if he's a slacker at shortstop. Not a lot from a bat perspective that feels like a good deal right now. What if we look at pitchers? Again, we need a starter. Nola wants 24 million. I'm not prepared to pay him 24 million. Bring in Cookie. Pitched really well for the Mets in 22. Looks like he was hurt most of last year. Sonny Gray, no. Montas, one of the worst deals the Yankees have ever made. And I can't say I'm disappointed about that, but Martin Perez wants 17 million. Cal Quantrill. Bring Giolito back for 4.4. That's not an awful idea. Kluber wants 7. How did he do last year? He was 7-12, an ERA of like 5.5. Yeah, Kenta Maeda. 7. Might hold off and, I don't want to say spend on the scraps, but maybe some of these pitchers their demands will come down here. Syndergaard. Wasn't good last year. Got anybody on the trade block of it? Raul Alcantara. Was a 20-game winner in the KBO in 2020. Look at that. That's nuts. Anybody on the trade block? Not from no, not yet. Soon, but not yet. So I don't know that there's a lot we need to do in free agency. There's not a lot of people there that I don't think we're ready. I mean, I don't think we're ready to make that leap. How was Anderson defensively? Not great. I mean, he really would be better served. His range down to 65. He absolutely would be better served at second base. So maybe Nick Ahmed is that, I hate to say splash, but maybe Nick Ahmed is that splash that we make here. Fielding ratings. It's a 1-year contract for 4. What if we offered him 3? Okay. And then just want to look. I mean, I'd like to sign another. Maybe not Blake Treinen. Only pitched 5 games last year, but was dominant in 20. Well, he's missed almost a year and a half now. Wow. You can get, what does Kelly want to come back? Now he wants more. You can find ground ball relievers super cheap. The game just doesn't value them like I do. And if we can pick up somebody like Ahmed and then move Tim Anderson over to second, all of a sudden we have a really, really good defensive middle infield. Castro, yep, we'll make him an offer. Offer 1.5. All right. So now we need to get to next month. I want to get through the Rule 5, and then I'll probably offline sim up to January 15th, which is International Free Agent Signing Day. The Twins want to send us Nick Gordon for Colas, Burke, and Montgomery. No. I mean, Nick Gordon has exploded in Out of the Park 24. The game loves him. Game loves him. But not for this package. Not for Montgomery. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving up Colas. Is there some way we can make this work without... We've got a lot in the outfield now, right? We've got Leon, Meadows, Robert, Sheets. Right now, we still have Benintendi. And then we have Cabrera, who can also play in the outfield. So I wouldn't mind trading Colas and getting back Nick Gordon. Again, another player who can play all over the diamond. He's well-known locally, which might help fan interest. And he's got a good bat. So, prospect-wise, what do the Twins want from us? Got to be careful, because I don't want to give up players that... I'll give you Jordan Sprinkle. Make this work. I have no player. Okay, so I can do 2 make this works on, I would say, I don't even remember what the deal was, but I'm going to limit myself to 2 per day. Wait and pull that. Let's just submit it. Sim ahead. I'm going to skip Hall of Fame voting because that's what caused my game to crash. We will get to December 1st. So they really want those 2 players that that they were asking for initially. I mean, do we trade someone like Sean Burke? I mean, he's only a 45 overall. Projects to be a spot starter. I mean, if I gave you Burke... Paul Skeens, man, he looks good. Can we get a prospect pitcher back from you to fill... Give me Sean Mooney. He's 25. Won't take much more. Don't want to give you Colson Montgomery. I'm sorry. How's RJ doing? Okay. Okay, RJ. I see you. 45 contact, potential 50 home run power. Let's go. Let's go. What can I give you? Brian Ramos doesn't have a position. Now I have to do a whole lot better. So here we're close. Yeah, I can't give you Colson Montgomery. I can't do it. Noah's looking good. Like Mooney, because he fits right into that starter's role that replaces Burke, but I cannot give up Colson Montgomery just yet. I'm not there. Wes Kath? They accept this, they're bigger suckers than I realized. Okay. Sprinkle. Let's submit this. That's a lot of prospects. I also wanted to see who's available for scouting. Do we have any new scouts that highly favor tools? Nope. We got Britt Craven, who favors tools, but not highly. So we're going to stick with what we have for now. It is December 1st, so let's get into scouting, international, run our practice. Cool. Yeah, so like Nelson Salazar is somebody I think we can take a run at. 4 potentially really good pitches. Sirigo's another one. High work ethic. 4 potentially plus pitches, really cheap. If I can get both of them, then I can take a run at someone like Villarreal. By the time we get to international signing, league interest is going to be very high, which is fine. But let's get to the winter meetings, and we're going to get a reply from the Twins here about our deal. Yeah, I don't know that I'm comfortable with that. So if I remove Mooney and remove Burke, I don't know that this is going to happen. I mean, I would like Nick Gordon, sure, but not giving up Colson Montgomery. The only way I would give up Montgomery is if they wanted to turn around and give us, one of their top prospects. They wanted to give us a Jose Rodriguez. Like, I would do this. Or would I? Because here's the thing, right? Rodriguez is 18. Offer a little bit more. Wes Kath is a little bit more. All right, let's submit that. Maybe I can make this work. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. We'll see. Yeah, see, it keeps saying, I'm not sure you have a player that'll make this deal work, but it's very close. Like, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Do you want somebody from our big league roster? What would I give up for my big league roster? Jose Rodriguez? Okay, make your offer and you'll do your best to respond promptly. Cool. No. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work because we don't have a player that will make that work. So we'll just clear the offer and move on. That's a shame because Nick Gordon's pretty darn good. Let's get to the winter meetings. Trade proposal from the Pirates. Mark Mathias. Peyton Paulette. No, thank you. From the Braves now. Luke Waddell. They keep wanting to pawn Waddell off on us. I'm not interested in that. I do like the fact that the game sims faster now that there's only like 3 leagues in there, right? Jonathan India. I mean, if it was this Jonathan India, if it was the 5-WAR Jonathan India from 2021, sure, but not this one. We haven't signed either of the players that we made offers to yet, have we? No, they're still pending. All right. We have a lot of pitchers still kind of hanging out here. Hoping maybe those contract offers come down over the next few weeks. All right, so winter meetings are tomorrow. We're at the winter meetings. Who is on the trade block? Let's see. From a pitcher perspective, not a whole heck of a lot. Looking at starters, but yeah, it looks like all relievers. Bumgarner's out there. What about batters? Anybody of note? Nope, nobody that I'm interested in. Carson Kelly. Don't really need another catcher. Adam Frazier's got a pretty good bat with Baltimore, but he's 31. We don't really need that. Yep. Okay, so there's nobody on the block. All right, let's get to the Rule 5. Do the Rule 5. I'll pause. I'll quickly sim ahead a month. And that will be that. Max Schrock. An enthusiastic yes. Not just a yes, an enthusiastic yes. Draft results. All right, so the Rockies move up from 1 to 3. Nationals drop from 1 to 2. The A's go from 6 to 3. The Blue Jays stay at 4. The Cubs stay at 5. And the Sox drop from 6 to 2. Not ideal if you are a fan of the Red Sox. Tampa wants to send us Vidal Brujan. For a lot of teams don't think we have a second baseman, which as soon as they see what our plan is, they will see that we do indeed have a second baseman. He's already on the roster. It's TA7, as he's referred to as. All right, Rule 5. Anybody we need to put on the 40-man? Davis Martin, we should put on the 40-man. Good old Yolbert. Matt Foster, no. Extreme Flyball, Brian Ramos, we got to put on the 40-man. Franklin Herman, and we got to put on the 40-man. No one's going to take Dahlquist. I think we're good there. How did Jaloff end up doing in his... Yeah, the gap power's already up some. 292, 416, 547. Love it. The gap power's already up a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy there. All right, let's get into the Rule 5. We're picking 13th. Let's go ahead and auto-draft until our next pick. We do need a reliever, so I think it makes more sense to look at not batters, look at pitchers. Let's see what we see. Matt Cantorino. He's out for 1 week. Yep. He is, yeah, fastball slide. Look at that. 3 great pitches. I think we jump right in on a Matt Cantorino. Let's get to our next pick. We may take a couple of pitchers here. No reason not to. See if we can find ourselves some ground ball type pitchers. Maybe pick up that starter we were looking for. Giovanni Moran. Again, 3 elite pitches. We want to raid the Twins for like all of their young pitchers. There's Dahlquist. I think we might. Caleb Killian. Taken from the Cubs. Braylon Marquez is a free agent. McKinley Moore. Extreme ground ball. I don't know that he's ready, but when he is ready, 60 stuff, 70 movement. Moran is already there, though. Yep, Giovanni Moran. We lost Ricardo Sanchez. Okay, that's the guy we just signed. Do we want, man, Moore's hurt. I don't really think we want to take on too many. Cam Robinson, 24 years old. Good, already great stuff, great movement, terrible control, but look at the numbers he put up in high A. He's a 24-year-old in high A. I think we might be good with the 2 we've picked up. Victor Vodnik. No, again, really, low control. Let's look at the batters real quick just to make sure that we're not missing out on anything. I think the game's done a better job of making sure that it protects the right people in these drafts. Bracho looks like a decent player, but again, where would we play him? Yeah, I think we're good with the 2 pitchers we took. All right. So I am going to pause. Brendan McKay, the top pick. By Kansas City. I'm going to pause. I'm going to sim ahead now to January 15th, and we will do International Amateurs. I'll be right back. All right, guys. We're back. It is the 15th, and I made a deal. Oh boy, did I make a deal. I had forgotten that I had talked about potentially wanting to trade Benintendi because we've got a ton in the outfield. And so what I did is I offered up Benintendi with 50% retained, and I got an offer that I was shocked to get, to the point where it made me check to make sure that my my trading is set to the hardest difficulty. And we traded for Max Fried. We picked up Max Fried from the Atlanta Braves. 50 stuff, 70 movement, 70 control, extreme ground ball pitcher. And it was a bit off last season, but that high BABIP, I think, explains most of that. He's got 4 above average pitches, back-to-back 14-win seasons. The only reason I can think that they were willing to make this deal is because of his contract. But it's short term, so I don't care. Making $24 million this year, $31 next, $31 the year after that. We have a lot of players on our team who are making the minimum. So that trade was, in the game, this is kind of broken. It doesn't show this anymore. Like, it doesn't, when you click on it, it doesn't just open it up like it used to. But we traded Benintendi, and we retained 25% of his contract, which equated to about $3.5 million or so. And 28-year-old John Park, who's a filler, 6'4", 205-pound righty, and we pick up Max Fried. So we got a big fan interest bump from that. We're up to 76. We don't have much money left for this season. I'm going to leave my scouting and development right where it is. We have money for extensions because fans are interested in what we're doing this year. 35% bump in revenue to this point. So I said we wanted a pitcher. We picked up an ace. We picked up a stud ace pitcher in Max Fried to head up our rotation this year. Once Cease comes back, we've now got Fried and Cease at the top of our rotation. I like it. We did sign Miguel Castro as well to what is now looking like a stacked bullpen. And then we also signed Nick Ahmed. So he will come in, be our starting shortstop. We moved Tim Anderson to second. And it is time now for international amateurs. And there are a couple of names right off the bat that I am going to go after due to our relationships. First and foremost, Alejandro Acevedo. Are you absolutely kidding me with that ability? Very strong relationship, very low league interest. So we're going to jump in right here. He wants 1.5. We're going to offer him 1.250. And then we're going to come down here and talk to, and you can see it lists every team's totals. Nobody's traded anything this year. We're going to come down to talk to Aceves. Who was it? Sirigo. We'll come down and talk to Sirigo. He wants 180,000. And I think we will just flat offer him that. And now where do we want to go? We want to go here, right? Villarreal, he was the other one. Salazar was one that we wanted to go after as well at 290. So we'll offer him 275 because it's very strong relationship and only high league interest. And then we'll come in here and talk to Villarreal. What do we have left? He wants 1.4. Let's offer him 2.5. Leaves us with a tiny bit, and we'll sim ahead and see if we can land some of these guys. If we can sign those 4 players, I would be over the moon. I have a feeling we're going to miss out on Villarreal just because the league interest is very high. So I assume he's going to be offered a bigger contract than that, but we will see. Yeah, they all did, actually. Both pitchers did. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, Villarreal, already up to 3.6. So we're going to go ahead and pass there, and that is fine. Salazar, 310. Let's offer him 350. Let's just see if we can make that happen. And then Sirigo, 280. Let's offer him 350 as well. Acevedo, if we can get him for 1.25 million. And we did. Let's go. And King will be back in 2 months too. So that is fantastic. We signed Alejandro Acevedo, and you can see right there how the new international amateur engine works. We picked up a potential 80 overall first baseman. He doesn't have a position. He is a DH, but look at that potential bat from the 16-year-old. And then who else did we sign? Nobody. So we've got $2.8 million left. Pedraza. No, we don't have 2.8 left. Yeah, we do. What is this thing saying? Let's see what happens with Salazar and Sirigo. All right, so Sirigo wants more. He wants 550. Which is a bit surprising that that given the league interest that is kind of shooting up like that. Truth be told. What about Rivera? 1.9. What if we offer him 2.5? Let's get in on him. Let's come back and talk to Sirigo. No, we can't. So we may end up losing a couple of the players that we looked at initially, which is okay. Salazar and Rivera both want more. Can't offer him what he wants. So 600. Let's offer him 750. And now we can go back in and I guess talk to Sirigo again. Let's offer him 750 as well. So we still have 1.4 million. You can see we didn't scout any of these players, or we didn't invite them to training, so it's probable that we end up putting all of this extra money into Salazar and Sirigo. Salazar wants more money. What does he want now? 850, so we'll pump him up to 1.1. And my guess is once we get to the preseason, we're going to get a bump as well because of what we did during the offseason. All right, so did we sign Sirigo? We did. Okay, so we pick up Sirigo. I don't know if he's great, but for, $1 million, 17 years old, high work ethic, stamina, ground ball pitcher. I mean, it's worth the effort, right? Yep, we got a $14 million bump in our budget this season because of what we did during the offseason. Can we get Salazar? Can we just make that happen, please? Development. We got Salazar. There we go. All right. So that was an effective international free agent signing. We pick up a couple of pitchers. We pick up a potential stud first baseman. Cabrera's ratings drop, but that's fine. We're going to use him as a super utility guy. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. We got a little bit more money. I think we hang on to it for now. You know what? I take that back. Let's bump this to 22. Bump this to 25. That leaves us with $10 million for available money, $13 million for extensions. We do have Tim Anderson, whose contract is up at the end of the year, so that's something we need to consider. Moncada's got a team option. Hopefully he opts out of that. We got Robert locked up for a couple years. Cease at least through next season. Aaron Bummer may be a contract we look to move if that means we can re-sign Tim Anderson. We're going to be eating about $4 million of Benny's contract, which, whatever, we picked up Freed, so that's fine. So we got some ways to make some money work. We can move Kopech if we need to. So, that's going to do it, guys. Next episode will be, I'll sim up to opening day. We'll play opening day, and then we'll sim a couple of months and see how it goes. So let me know your thoughts on the first Chicago White Sox full season and our offseason. I think we had a fantastic offseason personally. Max Fried, 3 really solid international amateurs. We improve our bullpen in the Rule 5. I'm really happy with it. You let me know your thoughts, though, guys. I appreciate you watching. Take care. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.